in this lovely basketball court in this lovely house. And we're happy to be here. We're a touring band. We are doing a little tour, a Southwest tour through Arizona and Texas this month. Sweet. So first things first, I think that we should sing Happy Birthday to Emma. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday, dear Emma and Grandma Raymer, the most beautiful women in Arizona.
Woo!
Happy birthday to you. Pop cans, and it's pretty draining, and I guess the only thing about it is it's so depressing. Wow. Nice transition. Put your dreams away for now. See you for some time. I get lost in my mind. I get lost in my mind. Mama once told me, you're already home. Do you feel love? I am lost in my mind. I get lost in my mind. Ooh.
Oh my god, this is so cool.
I know, it's like how the 70s houses had this in their living room. Remember?
Yeah.
Dude, those were dope. They need to bring those back.
Yes, they do.
But this is so cool. We could totally burn something. For crimes of witchcraft. Hello, this is you.
Something I was just thinking about was work and how much I really like my coworkers. And I'll tell you more about last night, but I was sitting here for meditation, and then after I was done, I was sitting here just thinking about different things, and I thought of something that I wanted to mention to someone at work when I go in later today, just as an interesting thing that I thought of. And then I was like, I'm so grateful to work somewhere where me saying this to someone, the specific thing that I was thinking about, would just be taken openly. It wouldn't be seen as weird or anything like that, because all day long we're dealing with spiritual matters and metaphysics and esoteric things, and every single day we get people that come into the store and they're like, okay, this is gonna sound crazy, and then they say something and it never sounds crazy because we're just used to hearing all those kind of things and thinking those kind of things. And for me personally, I don't firmly believe in much, but I think about all kinds of things. I love that. That's something that I find enjoyment in life, is thinking about all kinds of things, right? And I like discussing those things and talking about those things with other people that also like thinking and discussing those things. And there's no judgment here. There's no oh, everyone should think this way or no one should think this way. It's just, there's none of that. It's just this is what genuinely interests me, right? And so then I was thinking I'm just so glad that I work somewhere where that's just what we do. Because I can't imagine going into work somewhere and never talking about spiritual things. What do people that work in non-spiritual places talk about? what do you guys, what do people talk about when they go into like a corporate job or just like literally any other job that doesn't deal with the kind of things that my job deals with? And again, no judgment. We need all kinds of jobs. We need all kinds of people, and however you feel and think is fine. It's just like, it's one of those things that's hard for me to wrap my head around, because where I'm working is like the one main job that I've had, because for the first part of my adult life, I was very, very sick. I was too sick to work. And then I worked briefly at Dippin' Dots, which is like ice cream. I don't even know if Dippin' Dots still exists, like in individual stores. And like, I don't really remember what we talked about then. Most of the time I worked by myself anyway, because it was a really small place. And then in high school, it's totally different. Like, I worked at Cold Stone Creamery, and we're in high school, so we're talking about all kinds of things that teenagers talk about. But like, as adults, I'm like, I just can't imagine working somewhere and not being able to be like, hey, I had this really crazy, weird thought. Let me tell it to you. And what do you think? Like, I don't know. Maybe I just don't understand also that those kind of conversations can happen in any workplace. Anyway, that's just me rambling. So last night was a lot of fun. I didn't really know what to expect as far as like the music goes, because I just barely looked them up the morning of and realized that they weren't an Indian music, but they were indie. They were a folk band, and for the most part, very talented, lovely voices. They had cellos and stringed instruments that just sounded so beautiful. Didn't realize that they were like religious, and so the guy would talk in between songs, and for the most part he was super cool and super nice and like no judgment, but it was a little jarring because I haven't experienced that in such a long time, like someone like sharing their testimony type of thing and like talking about Jesus and stuff, which is cool. He was very nice and lovely, but then they closed with a hymn, and I joked later with my coworker who is similar to me, I guess. I was like, I got triggered with that last song because they were singing about the blood of Jesus and, you know, all my sins are washed away and like all this stuff. But it was beautiful. Like, I prefer hymns over worship music, because like there's a lot of like incredibly beautiful hymnals, and they're absolutely beautiful. And this was like an old time hymn, but it was just like a funny, like, ugh, I'm a little triggered right now because it's been so long since I've heard this. But I thought it was beautiful, especially because it was my grandma's 100th birthday, if she had still been alive. And I'm wearing her cross today in honor. And my Grammy, she especially loved hymns, you know. So I just thought it was another cool little synchronicity. I felt her in that moment, and I was happy to be experiencing it. But it was definitely like, whoa, this is so weird, because this used to be like my everyday kind of experience, and it's been so long since I've experienced anything like that. For them to be like live in person, someone like sharing their testimony, it was kind of weird. And I also realized that's like the first live music that I've experienced in probably 2 years, because of like COVID and everything. Yeah, it was a good time. And even like the few hours before leaving, I was very calm, and I'm like, this is so weird how calm and like not anxious I am in this moment. But it was really nice. And then when I had to start like getting dressed to go, oh my gosh, I really screwed myself, because I'm very sensitive to like sensory things, and one of those things is like clothing and textures. And so if like by the end of the day I have to take my clothes off, because I just cannot stand being touched anymore, like being in clothes. I made the mistake of I had been wearing jeans all day long, like tight jeans, which I really need to go pants shopping, because all of my pants are so uncomfortable. I can't stand it. And so then I was like having a dilemma. Like my body is just like fighting me because it does not want me to either stay in those jeans. It doesn't want me to put on different pants, but it was cold and we were gonna be outside, but it's fine. I worked through it. I had a great night, and I only had like, it was a long drive for me. It was a long drive. It was 45 minutes. I didn't look too much into the GPS when I put the location in to like get me directions to go out there, because it freaks me out sometimes if I like overthink it. And I did look at the option to avoid freeways, but it was going to be like an hour and 20 minutes if I avoided freeways, and only 45 minutes if I took the freeways. I was like, I'll just take the freeways. It's no big deal. But I should have looked closer, because heading out there, I just clicked like the fastest route. And there's like, it took me on 4 different freeways. So you have to like merge on and off of 4 different freeways. And that's always like the most stressful part, right? So then on my way home, I like looked at like what the second option was, and instead of 43 minutes, it was 45 minutes. And I was like, that's like literally no difference. And it just keeps you on one freeway. So I was like, I'm just gonna take that one. And it was so much better. I bought some new cards yesterday. I just really like the art, okay? I'm not gonna try and justify why I buy stuff, but this is a really beautiful deck, Sacred Mothers and Goddesses. The art style for the most part is like really pretty. There's Freya. And what I really like about it is that it has different versions of Tara. I think it has white, green, and yellow Tara, which I just think is so cool, because usually in card decks that have like goddesses and stuff, there's only like one. But this one has 3 of Tara, which I really like. Here's white Tara. Even though they took it literal, that's literally a white woman. Oh, and there's Kali. So anyway, I want to pull a card for all of us because I like doing that. But I have to put you somewhere so that I can use both of my hands. All right, so which sacred mother or goddess would like to come out? For everyone watching, what message do you have for us here today? And we're gonna pick 3 because it's the triple goddess. So, which 3 messages are there for us today? What I also like about this deck is when I was at work last night pulling cards for my coworkers, one of my coworkers, Cody, he has like specific deities or whatever that he connects with, and it was just so cool that out of the 3 that I pulled for him, 2 were like spot on for like people, like deities that he actually connects with. I just love it when that kind of stuff happens. It's so cool. Okay, what 3 want to come out for us today? Okay, so first is Mary Magdalene, courage and visionary. Yeah, when I look in the camera, it's backwards, so I am reading backwards. Beautiful, courage and visionary. I think we'll just, if 2 don't pop out, I don't want to just keep shuffling and keep you guys waiting. So we'll just pick from the middle of the deck or something. Oh, there we go. Oh, Freya. We saw Freya earlier. Sensuality. Very cool. She's Nordic, of like Swedish spirituality. That's very cool. Mary Magdalene is biblical, if you're unaware. She's from Jesus's time. And then let's see, who's the 3rd one for us? So so far it's be courageous in your sensuality. Embrace that aspect of you. Don't be ashamed of it. This one. Ooh, and Isis. Sacred unions and relationships. Those are our triple goddesses for today. Mary Magdalene, Freya, and Isis. Who is also, I mean, this is sacred unions and relationships, but she's also very much about sensuality as well. And divine feminine. So embrace that part of yourself. Explore that. Have courage in it. Don't be ashamed. I love these cards. I think they're beautiful. I haven't looked through the book at all. I have no idea what it's like. Look how beautiful that is. Isn't that just gorgeous? I really love the imagery. Oh, there's Yellow Tara. I really love... I don't know who that is. There's Lakshmi. I mean, we're technically still in Diwali season. And she's like a big part of Diwali. Okay, anyway. See you guys later. So if you're new here, the room that I live in is the room that my grandma lived in for like the last few years of her life before she died. So a lot of like what's in my closet is just boxes of her stuff that every once in a while I'll find one and go through it and then find a bunch of things. And this box said Bloom Crystal on it, and Bloom is our last name. So it's just literally like a box of little crystal pieces that are really cute, and I wanted to show you some of the ones that I thought were really cool. So there's this like glass candle holder. I'm assuming it's a candle holder, but this is so beautiful. I am definitely going to keep this out. Oh, almost dropped it. I'm definitely going to keep it out and maybe even burn a candle in it in honor of my ancestors, because you know I like to do that. This beautiful little glass bowl, I'll find use for this somehow, some way, but it's just gorgeous. And like, oh, they even look like they're like little crosses. My family, definitely religious, but beautiful. This little girl, she's cute. This says, what does this say? A Joseph original. Oh, August. August little peridot. Never, is that what it says? Never is what she is not. She always knows just what to say, and she is happy all the day. Well, good for her, little August. I don't know whose birthday is in August. Oh, it says it on the bottom. My grandma's sister. Okay, cool. Look at this. I immediately thought of boobs. I'm sorry, this is a boob votive candle holder. I don't see it any other way other than boobs. There's two of them, and in here it says Bloom Family Crystal, at least 55 years old, and so now it would be at least probably 65 years old or older. So that's cool, these little boob things. And then I absolutely love this. Look at how gorgeous this stand, like plate stand is. So again, I'll find use for that. I'll make it a plant stand or something. And then this beautiful thing, look how cute this is. This is so beautiful. It's like a little serving dish, but it's a like opal. It's very milky. I should probably look it up because this kind of stuff, people like to thrift stuff like this, like depression glass. I don't know anything about it. So yeah, I thought it was really cool. I was happy to find this stuff. And then there's just like other things like this. But cool, I'm glad I found this. Okay, I looked it up and it's a vintage moonstone opalescent hobnail vintage, I already said vintage glass. It's so beautiful. I love it. I saw some places are like describing it as like a candy dish, So I'm definitely going to keep it out and display it just because I think it's beautiful. And it's not really worth a whole lot. Like any place that are like selling them is like less than $40. So it's not like selling it would make me any money. So I'm just gonna hold on to it because I really like it. I think it's beautiful, especially with the light coming in and shining on it. Gorgeous. Okay, and I looked it up, and this is from the Fenton Art Glass Company. And since it's this color, it's an amethyst. Oh my god, just look how beautiful that is. I'm obsessed. This is so exciting. I'm so glad I found these. And this one is also like not, it kind of looks like a face. Not super expensive. The place that I was looking at that matched this description had like other pieces to it, and that total with all the other pieces was like $70. So, but maybe this will start a depression glass thrift store hobby. Just kidding. I do not need a hobby that is just buying things. But I love that these were my grandmother's. So beautiful. And then this candle holder is pink depression glass, and I'm unsure if it's a Fenton or Fostoria or something like that. Not that those names mean anything to me yet, but I'm just excited about these pieces. And again, it's not like really worth anything. It's just a very beautiful vintage piece. So I'm happy to have it. And I burn candles for different ritual work and stuff. So it'll be cool to, I'm pretty I mean, it's a glass candle holder. It should be fine to burn in. So I'm gonna do it. I'm gonna test my luck. It should be fine. But it's so pretty. As for the boob candle holder, this one is unclear. I saw two different things. One was something like KIG, K-I-G, Indonesia. And then the other one was Reims, R-E-I-M-S, France. Both said to be made in the 1960s. So it looks like the note on this about it being 55 years old. And I said, it's probably 65 years old, is about right. But I'm unsure in the short research that I just did. But again, cool. And they're just so boob-like, like fake perky boobs, you know what I'm saying? Beautiful though. And I just want to say how easy and awesome Google, this is going to sound like an ad, how easy and cool Google Lens is, because all I had to do was like point my phone camera at these, take a picture, and then it brings up like visual matches. And it's just so easy. It's so easy. Because at first I was trying to think like, how do I describe boob candle holder? But it's like, oh, you don't have to do that. You just take a picture of it and the internet is scanned. It's so easy and convenient. So long since I've done yoga, and it's always like the hardest when you come back to it because your body is like not used to it and stuff. But I know that I need to be exercising more, working out more, like strengthening my muscles more to support my like structure. And when I went to the doctor last week, I was weighed for the first time in like 2 years, and it was a number I've never seen before, which is like, I like genuinely don't have any like hang-ups about that, but it was kind of like a okay, um, I just need to exercise more because my eating hasn't really changed. I'm not a big overeater. I don't eat like a ton of fast food or anything like that. I also don't like drink a ton of calories, so I think really what it boils down to is the fact that I'm in my 30s now, and that's just a very natural thing. And also the fact that I just don't exercise because exercising always makes me dizzy, and I don't like being dizzy. But anyway, I like yoga. I like how it feels afterward. I like how it feels in the moment too, most of the time. It also just helps. And I was laying in bed this morning after I woke up, and I was just so tired. But I had slept all night. I mean, I did wake up like maybe twice, and one of those times was with like an increased heart rate. But I had also just woken up from a really disturbing dream, so I was like, that's probably why. I was feeling like that intense heart rate, and then it like calmed down pretty quickly. So I don't think it was like one of those alarming times that I've had. I think it was just because of the dream. But anyways, I was laying in bed this morning and I was just exhausted, and I'm like, why am I so tired? Like I feel like I don't have any reason to be tired, but I really think it's because I'm not exercising regularly, because that really helps. Like for me personally, when I'm regularly exercising, it does help me in some way. Even if it makes me feel worse in the moment. Like right now I'm dizzy and I don't like that, but I know that the dizziness should subside soon. And then like long-term exercising helps. Like it doesn't feel like it helps in the moment because I feel awful. I know I just said it makes me feel good, but I mean like long-term it makes me feel good. But like immediate, and that's what makes it so hard, is because like the immediate feeling is bad, is worse. It's fine. All of those boxes need to be broken down and put in recycling. They've just been like hanging out in my closet for so long because anytime I get something in the mail, I just put the empty box in my closet. Anyway, let's just ignore that. Tomorrow is my last day, my last appointment with my current therapist, who I have seen on and off for like the last 3 years. It's not like necessarily goodbye forever, because there is a possibility that when she comes back from maternity leave that I will go back to her, but there's also not like a guarantee of that. So that's gonna be kind of weird tomorrow. And then after that, I will start with a new therapist that's more focused on medical trauma and hopefully get somewhere with that. I just like right now I'm at a place where I just want to figure out what's going on, because I had another bad episode, not last night but the night before, and it like was like on and off. Like the worst of it was like after work when I was home relaxing, and that seems to be pretty common, is for it to happen after I've been at work and I'm just like at home relaxing. And then it makes me sleep terribly. Like I don't sleep well at all, and I wake up in the middle of the night with heart racing and stuff like that. And then in the morning I was not feeling great because of it, and just all day I feel like this pressure, this tightness, this weird heartbeat thing. Just like I just need to figure out what it is, because when it's bad, I know it's gonna pass, but at the same time it feels so awful that I'm like, I'm gonna die. Like not like in that moment, but like this is gonna kill me. Because I like cannot handle how awful it feels like in the moment. But it's not like painful, thankfully. It's just really, really uncomfortable. The last 2 nights I've also been having really horrible dreams for some reason, like nightmare dreams. And last night I even dreamt that I got in, hold on. And like last night I dreamt that I got in to see a cardiologist, and I was there at the appointment like filling out paperwork when there was like something happened and they were like, "Oh, like you were scheduled for this other kind of appointment, not what you're here for," or something. Like there was some weird miscommunication. And like in the dream, I had already like been through something like this with this specific like doctor. And so I was really annoyed that it was happening again. And I was like, if you're not going to be able to see me today for whatever reason, then this is it. Like, I'm not going to see you at all. I'm just going to go find a different cardiologist. And like, that was, I mean, that was like a stress dream, sure. But then the way that the dream ended in the parking garage of this place. Also, my mom was for some reason with me at this appointment, and she hasn't been to a doctor's appointment with me in years since I've been able to drive again. I haven't had anyone go with me. But she was with me, and then like something horrible happened in the parking garage. And I'm like, the image and sounds are just like burned into my brain. So I woke up in that moment with my heart racing, and I'm like, okay, there's a connection there. Like, my heart is racing because I had a horrible dream. But the other times, I don't know, I'm so sick and tired of talking about this, and I'm sure it's so annoying to listen to. So tomorrow's my last day with my therapist, and then I don't know exactly when I will see the new therapist or how that's gonna go. I was thinking about, because the day before my therapy appointment, I like to think about what to talk about with my therapist just so that I'm ready and I don't like waste the time, right? And especially because tomorrow's gonna be our last day. I'm not gonna get anything deep with her, but like I do feel like I am on the upswing, hopefully. If I could just get my physical stuff figured out, because since going back to work, my mood is better. I love being at work, and I feel like I've already mentioned that a few times, but I do genuinely love being there. I also really like the money, even if, you know, even if keeping me alive is so expensive and I work just above minimum wage. So at the end of my expenses, it's impossible to like build up any sort of savings, but it's fine. Possibility that it won't always be like this, we'll see. But just having that as like an improvement is helpful for my mood. Though I have to say, yesterday at work, okay, so I've shown you before how I like to clean the crystal room, right? And we have a big old store. There's lots of other sections. We've got incense, we've got candles, we've got statues, we have jewelry, we have books, we have a whole bunch of stuff, right? But the crystal room is my baby. And I've like each day that I'm there, I get out the little cart, I work on a little section, and I move throughout the whole crystal room. Well, yesterday, this has literally never happened, and I'm so confused. But yesterday, I got there. One of my coworkers went on her little break. When she came back, the other coworker went on his lunch. So it was just me and my other coworker. The big boss also stopped by, so she was there. And I got the little card out like I do, and I started working on a new section. And how I do it is like I work, and then like I clean, and then if like the phone rings or there's a customer, then obviously they take priority and we help them, right? And so while I was taking a phone call or while I was ringing someone up, my coworker went over and started cleaning the crystal room, like with my little cart, and like was doing the shelves I was working on. And I was so offended. It's so stupid and it's so silly, but I was like legitimately so annoyed. I was just like staring at her like, what are you doing? Like, what? That's like never happened for someone to just take over a project. In all my years there, that has never happened. And so then she just like did it. And it really annoys me because the way that I do it is very intentional, and I do it slower than she does because I'm very intentional about how I do it. I like to make the displays. I like to like put them in specific places for like new energy. And I was just, I don't know, I felt so defeated. And again, it's like not that serious. I get it. It's not that big of a deal. She was just trying to help, I guess. But I'm like, girl, go clean something else. Like, why take over my project? I was very annoyed though. And it took me until she left, because she leaves like an hour after I get there. And I was just like, I cannot wait for her to leave. Because I just like couldn't stand to have her there. I was very annoyed. So, something I need to work on and just let it go, because in the grand scheme of things, it's really not that big of a deal. In the grand scheme of things, it's literally not that big of a deal. But it really annoyed me. And during that time, like as I'm like standing there like staring at her from across the room, like working on my project, I got a phone call, like someone called, and this woman, I don't even know exactly what she said when she answered the phone, but it really sounded like, "Hey baby," or something like that. And I didn't respond to that. I just repeated what I say when I answer the phone. And she's like, "Oh, I'm sorry, you must not know who I am." And again, I just like didn't respond to her because I was already annoyed, and I hate pet names. I hate pet names. I hate when people use pet names. And like, I'm not your baby. I'm not your honey. I'm not your sweetie. I don't care if you're Southern. Like, just shut up. And I also do this thing when I'm talking on the phone to people, is I don't respond to everything that they say. Like, I just let them talk. And then eventually they'll be quiet, and I'll continue with the information that I need to get in order to get them scheduled or whatever. And some people will be like, I think they realize, like, oh, I'm being annoying, maybe. Other people don't, and it just, anyway. Remember a couple videos ago where I was like, I'm really trying to practice non-judgment, and going back to work has really given me opportunities to practice that. Yeah, sometimes it doesn't always work. Sometimes I'm just annoyed. At least I'm not like rude back. I'm just quiet. That's not being rude. That's just letting people talk and letting them come to their own things. But I really do think it's funny when people are just talking, like giving me information I don't need to know, telling me about things that I don't need to know, and then they're finally quiet, and I'm like, okay, so what was your first name? Or, okay, what was your phone number? That way I just move along in finishing the transaction. Okay, I'm gonna stop complaining about work. I did not get on here to complain about work. And in fact, I was only, how many drink? Oh, it still feels warm. I didn't mean to get on here and complain about work. I'm not really complaining. I find it interesting. I like having like little interactions with people, unless they're like just outright rude, obviously. Anyway, I do genuinely love work. I love being there. I love the job aspect. I just really want to figure out what is going on with my chest. And if it really is just anxiety, then I need to get some medication, because I can't stand it. I cannot stand it. It's a couple days later and I'm editing, and I cannot believe how much I ramble in this video. I don't know what my deal is this week. This last clip you saw is only Wednesday, and I have other things, but I'm just gonna hold it for the next video. But I did want to show you really quick like what I've done with the crystal pieces that were my grandmother's. So this crystal bowl that had the crosses on it is now sitting here with this little plant on it. And it's so cute. I love it. And then over here I have the candle. I have actually burned a candle in it. I did that a couple nights ago. And it worked fine. So I'm gonna be using that regularly. I haven't quite used these, but these will just stay with my altar supplies. And then this little guy sits on my nightstand. He's just holding some little crystals right now. And then I said I was going to use this as a plant stand, and that's what I've done. This beautiful little piece, and I just love the color of it. So that's what I've done with those. I'm going to end the video here. If you sat through all of this, thanks for just hanging out with me all week and just listening to me ramble on about whatever. I hope you're well. I hope that the coming weeks for you get better and better. Do you hear the sirens? I don't pay any attention to them until I'm editing and I can hear them in the videos. But I live really close to a fire station, so I just hear them all the time, but I'm just so used to them, it doesn't faze me. But then when I'm editing, I can hear them and then I think about it. Anyway, I hope your coming weeks are better and better, and be safe, be well. I hope you find ways to enjoy your life, and I will see you in my next video. Bye, guys.